Welcome to What's Up, Bolts? I'm Fernando Ramirez, and that cowboy hat wearing sunglass donning son of a gun is Dan and Dago. But I don't think
Don't let the smile fool you. Do not let the smile fool you. I am in absolute pain and suffering. But I at least got this cool homage shirt. Shout out. Appreciate them.
So obviously what Dan is talking about is the Chargers are right. They blew a 27-point lead against the Jacksonville Jaguars. They lost on a last-second field goal, 31-30. They're officially eliminated from the playoffs. A lot of things went really right for the Chargers in the first half. They did everything correct. In the second half, it was a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I mean, if you've been a Chargers fan for a long time, you've seen this stuff before. Hell, Mike McCoy must have seen deja vu from the opposing sideline. His first game as a Chargers head coach, he against the Houston Texans, they blew a 24-point lead, and I think Houston beat them 28-24 or 20.
Yeah, another late second field goal.
Yeah, so definitely this one hurts, especially because it's in the playoffs. The third biggest blown lead in playoff history. So it definitely is gonna. I'm sure it's gonna sting Charger fans, especially because of obviously the fact that Justin Herbert and the Charger eliminated. Some other factors have come into play, and now Dan is in my belief. In a little bit, we will hear from head coach Brandon Staley, and we will hear from quarterback Justin Herbert. In my opinion, now there's a lot of questions about the future of the Chargers and the way the organization is going to move forward. Because, I mean, a 27 point blown lead is nothing to smile at or laugh at or even be like, oh, well, it's just one of those things. No, this is embarrassing. Like it's embarrassing. It's an embarrassing loss. Dan, I don't know how you feel, but it definitely this is bad.
Well, how do I feel? All I gotta say, it's time to start drinking. Whiskey Sour Wednesday's back. It's unbelievable. And the worst part is, we were listening to our good friend Jeff Miller before the game, and he said some of the similar things you're saying now. And it's like, what have we done to the football gods to deserve this? I have no idea. I don't know what these people have done in their past lives, but why do us not you, because you're a reporter, but me and all the other ones in, Charger Nation, wherever you want to call it, Bolt fam, I don't care what gimmicky name you put. Why do we have to suffer like this? Because I've told you this before, Brown. I can stand to lose in a shootout on a last-second field goal. That stuff happens. But to lose like this in such terrible, heartbreaking fashion, there's no pain like it. Well, actually, there is. There's one above it. You can ask the Atlanta Falcons how that is. But that to me is just terrible. It is absolutely abysmal. I have a whole page and a half of notes during the game because I knew I didn't want to forget anything. I just don't know what to say. I'm at a loss for words. It's like, we've talked about it all week about Super Bowl winning head coach Doug Peterson having experience, having, that grit and everything else. And Brandon Staley not having a good record against Super Bowl winning head coaches. And it's like, it's his first playoff game as well as Justin Herbert's. And like we said, if the Chargers were going to win this game, they were going to win it in the first half. And obviously they lost it because in the third quarter, again, the struggles continued, only 3 points. I have so much more to say when I get to my notes, but I need a drink first round. You take it.
Yeah, so obviously the Chargers got off to an incredible lead. I mean, they jumped out in front. They got interceptions. They were getting 4 turnovers out of Trevor Lawrence. They scored, I think, 17 points off of those turnovers. And it's like, okay, everything is clicking right. But at some point, the Chargers kind of settled for field goals, and you kind of started thinking like, I don't know, and you're kind of like, well, you should be going for touchdowns. Like this could come back and haunt you. And obviously it did come back and haunt them. They 27 points, and it's funny because right before halftime, Trevor Lawrence drove the team down the field. Yep. And that's the thing. A guy like Trevor Lawrence, he might throw 4 picks, but he'll turn around and throw 4 touchdowns. And that just shows how much grit and how much and how much willpower the guy has. I mean, he threw 4 picks, put it in the back of his head, and it's like he had started the game over.
They never panicked.
And he never panicked. And but that's what you said though. When you have a Super Bowl winning head coach like Doug Peterson, he's seen it. He's seen quarterback struggle. He's seen different things like that. So what did he say? Hey, relax, calm down. Let's go back. And what did he say to whoever the halftime reporter was? He said, we're just going to keep on playing our game. He didn't say, oh, we need to start throwing. We need to do this. No.
Yeah. Oh, the only little adjustment, we're probably going to up the tempo. That's about it.
Exactly. That's all he did. He came out. They still ran the football. ETN ran for over 100 yards.
That's right.
They came out, they ran the football, they did everything they needed to do. They were methodical, they were moving up the field. They weren't trying to get 30 yards on one catch. Yep. It was 5 yards here, 7 yards there. They moved the ball up the field very well. And that's what happens when you have a Super Bowl winning head coach. That's the difference. And in the playoffs, those are the differences too. When you have a Super Bowl winning head coach, it changes a lot of different things. And that's why Doug Peterson is one of the better head coaches in the NFL. And that's why Jacksonville was so lucky. After the debacle with Urban Meyer, that was a good pickup by Jacksonville, especially because you have a young quarterback and you've heard him talk. You've heard him say things and you've heard Trevor Lawrence kind of take a dig at Urban Meyer. Not a dig, but like
it is what it is.
No, well, I don't think he means to take a dig, but he's like, when you have a coach like Doug Peterson, you learn things, you see things differently. Blah, 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 blah. Mike McCoy, Trevor Lawrence's quarterback coach. Mike McCoy has done a very good job in the past with quarterbacks. I know that he had a terrible run here with the Chargers. I know he's had weird stints. He had a weird stint with the Cardinals, a weird second stint with Denver, but he still has done very well with quarterbacks. And look, he's helping mature Trevor Lawrence. He's doing a good job with him. And I mean, that's the thing is that again, people are going to say, oh, he's going to say it again. When you're a Super Bowl winning head coach, you can choose. You pick and choose your staff. You can go out and get names, and you're like, boom, that guy, this guy, that, because you've worked with all these guys. Here goes Brandon Staley. Let's go to him real quick.
Okay, let's cut
and see what he has to say.
We just didn't play clean enough football in the second half and in all 3 phases. We didn't score the ball or possess it well enough on defense. We had far too many penalties in the second half that really hurt us and didn't play well enough in the red area. Didn't perform well there in 2 minutes at the end of the game. And, just didn't play a good second half of football as a team.
Anything you put your finger on as far as they gave so fast over the 0 points until that final drive? Anything you put your finger on as far as what changed defensively?
I think defensively, just penalties really hurt our team. We have a 2nd and 18 that's going to be a 3rd and 19. We have a PI. We had an offsides when it would have been a sack. We have a penalty that allows them to go for 2, unsportsmanlike penalty that goes for 2. So I thought penalties hurt us in the second half on defense, and on offense, we just, did not sustain drives in the second half, and, didn't run the football effectively enough, and then didn't do well enough on 3rd down in the second half. We had some killer 3rd and shorts that we didn't make today. And then obviously we missed a kick down the stretch that really hurt us.
Joey expressed to us, he didn't say it publicly, he was obviously upset at the officiating. Was it just a loss of composure on his part?
I think he was frustrated. I think he felt like there were a bunch of things that kind of accumulated throughout the game, and try to talk through it with the officials. But we can't lose our composure like that. We need to make sure that we stay on the high side of things, and we can't hurt the team that way.
The 2 unsportsmanlike. Do you have any word about why he wasn't ejected from the game?
No.
Offensively, running the ball has been a struggle for you guys all season. Just how frustrating was it when you had that lead to not be able to possess it and take time off the clock?
Yeah, it was frustrating. Just didn't have enough success at the line of scrimmage, and not enough, yards after contact, and just didn't play a good second half of football in any phase. And certainly, when you have that type of lead, if you can possess the ball effectively enough, then there won't be enough time. And we just didn't do that, and then didn't score the ball either.
Right. How disappointed are you? How surprised, I guess, maybe?
Anytime you're up, 27-7 at halftime, and you've got 4 takeaways, and you end up winning the takeaway margin 4-0. It's going to be a killer. I'm hurting for everybody in that locker room. It's a special group of guys, and this is the toughest way that you can lose, in the playoffs. And certainly with the way we started the game, that's the team that I know that we're capable of being. And in the second half, we just didn't finish the game. And, we're going to learn a lot from this. And, unfortunately, this is the tough side of things. Our season's over, but I love everybody in that locker room. And this was a step for us, and we're going to grow a lot from it.
Is there anything that you think they did on offense that made the picture look a little bit cloudy for Rollins in the second half?
No, they didn't do anything different than they did in the first half. We gave up, a big explosion for a touchdown, which hurt us. That I don't think we tackled as well in the second half. And then, like I said, there were a couple penalties that I think really hurt us.
Do you think, or do you worry that when they start coming back, your players might feel the weight of what's going to happen with this franchise in the past in the playoffs?
No, not at all.
Talked all season about creating mentality to close, to finish games. Well, why didn't that mentality materialize for you guys here in this big of a game?
I don't think we played clean enough football. I didn't think we made enough winning plays in the second half where everyone's performing their assignment, doing it with the right technique, with the right type of energy. I just think there was a lot of little things in the second half that added up to a big result there. And, we got to learn how to come together and close the team out like that in the playoffs because it wasn't just one phase of the game. It was all 3 phases that didn't play well enough in the second half. And we had our opportunities. We had our opportunities in all 3 phases to do it. And we just fell short.
So there you have it. Brandon Staley, obviously, very short with the media on his answers. I could understand that. You guys know, I'm a journalist first. So from what I've seen this, I'm not gonna toe poke or just. I'm gonna tell you guys the truth. Second half adjustments has been a problem for this Chargers team forever, but it's been a problem this year. The third quarter stuff that Dan and Dago was talking about. Remember, they didn't score a touchdown for 10 weeks in the third quarter. It showed up again tonight. In the fourth quarter, they haven't scored points. If you really go through it, they've scored a touchdown here, a field goal here, and they kind of put teams away that way, but it wasn't at the magnitude that they scored in the first or the second half. I don't know. To me, it was amazing. I just don't see how, like, I understand the penalties. Yeah, I get it. But it's just the second half. Like the second half is what has hurt the Chargers all season long of games. They don't adjust well, and that's when they get cooked in the second half. I don't know, Dan. Maybe I'm looking at it differently, but that's just what I believe. All season, that's been the problem. The second half of games, they have been up in the first half. Second half, they can't finish, and that's what's hurt them.
What's the old adage, Frown? What's the old saying? It's not how you start, it's how you finish. That is, a cliche for a reason, right? You know what I wrote down, Frown? Seriously? In the first half, I literally put, where is it? Oh, best Lombardi called game. Not period. I put best Lombardi called game ? Because guess what happened in the second half? Like it's happened week after week. They literally only scored 3 points in the third quarter. The fourth quarter is just as abysmal. They did not look sharp at all. Zion, rookie right guard, didn't look that good either. Gave up a sack crucially at a time. Gave up or had that illegal man downfield. I think they had just gotten a first down also. And it's like the problem was, the other problem that I had with Joe Lombardi was he was trying to run the football, but going east and west. It's like, dude, come on. You don't have that type of speed to go east and west. Run it between the tackles. Get creative. Give them different looks. Spread them out. Do what you have to do. Try and get inventive. But it's like, it's been the same thing week after week. The Chargers rushed for 67 yards compared to I think it was 117 by the Jaguars. And it's like, this is why I've talked about a run game, Frown. It's for these type of moments to finish teams off, pound the football, eat the clock, and other things like that. You can't rely on Justin Herbert throwing 40, 50, 60 times in a game, whatever you want. Or sorry, people don't understand hyperbole. Let me go 20, 30, 40 times a game. You can't do that and expect to win. And the other thing is, sometimes when Justin Herbert was going, I felt like sometimes he was taking unnecessary shots when he could have, like on those type of second downs. He just needed to get 5-6 yards to make it third and short. And of course, it didn't happen. And sometimes he was taking shots that I felt was like unnecessary, but obviously it's easy to quarterback from the couch. So it is what it is. And just, it was just a crumble of what we've seen all season. You know, Coach Staley talked about Joey Bosa and the penalties. That's unbelievable. Like you're like almost a 10-year vet. He's been in the league for years, on this team for years. He's one of our best players. You can't lose your composure. It doesn't matter if it's a playoff game. It doesn't matter if you're getting held.
The craziest part is I think we're at the boiling point though, where the NFL needs to do something about it. It's starting to get dangerous between the players and the officiating. The players are really, and I'm not saying dangerous in the physical, that something physical happened. I'm saying dangerous in the way that fans or players are calling for full-time officials and for the officials to be better. And no, I'm not talking about what Jacksonville did tonight. That was honestly one of the things that I think all of Jacksonville's coaches and players and everything, every single time something was happening, they wanted a flag. To me, I mean, honestly, if I was a ref, I wouldn't have given them anything the rest of the game just because they kept on complaining about everything. But that's
the thing. Those little mental errors, losing your composure. You can't lose your composure in crunch time. It's inexcusable. You honestly, Joey Bosa should understand, like, offensive linemen are going to hold. Don't put it in the official's hands to mark it against you because you're pissed off.
Well, the one where the official comes up to Joey and says something to him, I was like, "What? Why is he running?" Like, because Joey had walked by and said something, but then he comes up like if he's gonna like kind of in that video and last year.
It was like that official with the Bears. Remember that guy who threw his hip out and made the player hit him so he could throw a flag. It was really
so
weird.
He just comes over and says something to Joey. Joey says something, but Joey's always like, the officials have always been terrible because Joey does get held, and he was held on that play. He was held on the other play that he got that he wanted a flag on. I get it, the 15-yard penalties, but I don't think that did as much damage as what people think it did, because
it comes down
the 2-point conversion to stop them. I mean, that's
the thing. That's the thing.
You weren't able to stop them at all in the second half.
It's not the official's fault that you put it in their hands, essentially. If you're
what I was saying is I didn't think Joey's penalties hurt as much as
no. I understand that. What I'm saying is that if you're scoring, doing what you have to do offensively, those penalties aren't going to kill you. Officials aren't going to kill you unless obviously it's crunch time and it's close and it's bad calls. But I mean, it is what it is. Officials are going to be like this. Like, I don't know why anyone is surprised. Like, those things happen. It's up to the individual player to be in control. And I understand tempers flare, it's a physical game and everything else, but you have to be smarter. Like, there's no other way around it. You have to be smarter. And it's like, the other thing was, you're often, as a team, you're asking a lot of your defense because you're getting 3 and outs. You might have 1 first down and that's about it. They were on the field a lot in the second half. I don't know if anyone else noticed that. They were on the field a lot. They couldn't get pressure on Trevor Lawrence. They weren't coming down on those, shorter passes like they had been. And it's like, it's like we talk about, it's a tale of two halves always. And it's just, I've said this before to you off camera, and I'm going to say it on camera now. Unfortunately, sometimes bad coordinators get head coaches fired. And, it is what it is now because they couldn't put up any points in the second half. And I understand the thing that compounds that and makes it even worse is that you lose Mike Williams week 18 and everything else. So it's like, unfortunately, it's like we talked about last week. You had silenced the noise a little bit. Then obviously some things happen and the noise comes back. Well, the noise is going to be roaring now. So who even knows what's going to happen? The other thing I didn't like the timeout wasting, but I mean, it is what it is.
Chargers had the ball in the second half 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Punt, field goal, miss field goal, punt. And I know people will try and blame Dicker or whatever, but
don't put it in the kicker's hand.
Well, Jacksonville had so much momentum. They were going to score a touch. Like at the end of that game, they were either going to score a touchdown or score a field goal. Like there was no stopping them. Like the Chargers couldn't do anything about it.
I seriously thought they were going to go for it. That's what I was waiting for. I was hoping they'd go for it.
Listen,
that would ice the game, I think.
Listen to Jacksonville coming out of the gate. Touchdown, 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 field goal.
Yeah,
well, hell,
exactly.
What did you really expect to happen? Hell, in the first half, though, each team. I mean, the Chargers only possessed the ball 4 times in the second half. Jacksonville only did 4 times too. In the first half, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Jacksonville, they had the ball 8 times in the first half. The Chargers had it about 9 or 10 times. But as soon as they came out flat in the second half, and the Chargers came out and they only got a field goal, or they got to the Jacksonville 38, but then Scott came out to punt. That's when you're like, okay, you needed to come out of halftime, go up and either score a touchdown or score a field goal to really get in their heads. Yeah. But unfortunately, the Chargers weren't able to do that. And now, I mean, obviously now you have the question marks, and I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like you have to ask yourself, if you are Dean Spanos, John Spanos, and ownership, what do I really want to be in Los Angeles? Do I want to be the LA Clippers and just be behind the Rams and let the Rams hire the big time head coaches, bring in the big time players, go win Super Bowls? Or are you going to compete, and are you going to step up and try and win as well with Justin? Are you going to go are you going to maximize Justin Herbert's talent for the next 10 years? Or is it going to be a reflection of basically what happened with Phillip Rivers, where you're competitive,
just want to compete?
It never materializes to anything. So that's the question that they need to ask. And that's a question that they're going to need to ask themselves within the next 24 hours. What do they want to do moving forward? Because
the window's now.
What happened last Sunday and what happened today or on Saturday, it's inexcusable in my opinion. And I mean, I don't know. I'm not a GM. I'm not anything, but I think it's like a couple of years ago, Padres, one of the Padres owners told us when I was working at NBC in San Diego, he's like, if good things don't start to happen, heads will roll. Well, you had a positive season, but there was a lot of negatives, and you just ended on a huge negative. Like you just blew a 27-point lead. You're back to now everybody again on Twitter, charging. Yeah. The Chargers going to charger. Same old Chargers.
Nothing your little social media will help them out with now, dude.
There's
no way that'll negate it.
You have to at least. I mean, I don't know, but I really do. And I mean, I like Brandon Staley. I get along with him well.
We've said it on the show.
Yeah, it's nothing against him. It's just that you need to maximize the talent, and I don't know what they're gonna do. I really don't know. But really, they really do need to sit down together. It has to be the Spanos family has to sit down, not with Tom Telesco, not with sit down by themselves and really analyze what they're going to do moving forward. Because this is it's really ugly what just happened these last 2 weeks. I mean, literally, you're all over. Like you're the reason why Twitter blew up. Your team is one because your quarterback or because your wide receiver hurt his back and he wasn't. Hell, if Mike Williams is out there tonight, Dan, they don't lose that game.
Yeah,
Mike
totally
Williams,
different.
This is the thing, and people forget about this. And people might say whatever they want. Mike Williams is the fourth quarter go-to for Justin Herbert. Clutch. Justin Herbert looks his way. 1, 2, at one point, and I knew this was gonna happen. I said it on What's Up Bolts earlier. I said they're gonna double Keenan when the crunch time happens. They are gonna double Keenan and they're gonna let whoever else try and beat them. At some points, they were letting Josh Palmer get a catch here. Gerald Everett, hey, he stepped up and he had over 100 yards. He did a good job. But they still, but at time when it counted most, the Chargers had nobody to step up, and that's why you needed Mike Williams. Mike Williams is the guy that steps up. He makes the big time catches.
Yep.
He goes for the first down, and now he's sitting at home probably throwing stuff at his television, going WTF like Keenan Allen did in Week 5.
Yep.
But it's unfortunate, really, because the Chargers just wasted such a masterful performance in the first half.
Yeah.
By Asante Samuel Jr., by Drew Tranquil, by the defense as well. The defense played really well in the first half, and it all unraveled in the second half, and now you're left with more questions than answers. But I don't know. Maybe I'm delusional. Maybe I'm not thinking. Maybe I'm not thinking straight. But I really do think that the Chargers need to analyze. I think that the Spanos family really needs to sit down and evaluate everything. And I think they need to consider all their options, because there's a reason why I think he hasn't signed yet. I think he's still waiting. Well, I'm not even gonna go there.
Like the definition, like there's nothing wrong with what you're saying about they need to analyze. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. They've done, why is it that there's been so many
done it with the last 3 head coaches?
There's been so many head coaches, and we've had talent on this team. It's not like they've been a freaking 0-16 Detroit Lions where everybody's, signed off the street or undrafted. So obviously there's something wrong in the core of this, organization and the way that it runs. It has to self-analyze, just like coaches have to self-scout and see what they can do better so they can defeat opponents. It's the same thing, I assume, obviously I'm not Noner, so before everybody starts coming in the comments, I'm not Noner, but, you'd assume it's the same way where you need a fresh set of eyes if you haven't been able to get anything clearly, and the worst part is that's really going to just drive me up a wall is I know someone's going to put up, well, at least Phillip Rivers would get us out of the wild card. And it's like, okay, that literally says nothing. And it's just unbelievable. There's so many questions, Austin Eckler.
This had nothing to do. Yeah, no, Austin Eckler. Yeah, no, exactly. This had nothing to do with Justin Herbert. This game,
no.
Justin Herbert tried he really he was going up and down, trying to hype guys up, trying to keep guys engaged. You lose that's another thing. You lost DeAndre Carter at one point.
There was a shot. There was a shot weapon right there.
Carter kept on making catches on third down, and he kept on moving the chains and making some good catches. And you lost him. You don't have Mike Williams. I mean, Justin Herbert did as much as he could with what he had.
Then on top of that, you lose Michael Davis, who was playing well all season for the most part, to Kenneth Murray just throwing his shoulder and not even realizing what's going on. And it's like they're going to need to find something at linebacker also, because I think he has a lot of questions around him. There's just some stuff where he's blitzing and he shoves Kyle Van Noy in the back. It's missed tackles all over the place. There's just a lot more questions than answers now, when you would have thought it was the opposite way, where it's like, okay, we just need this or that and we're going to be good next season or something like that. But, it was just ugly as can be. There was, it was just, there's so much stuff to just go over. It's unbelievable. Why does this have to happen for Al? If something good happens for Daniel, is that so bad? Or Dan and Diego, how do you start off like that and then just completely collapse,
It's incredible. 4 turnovers. You picked the guy off 4 times. You should have had all the momentum, but slowly.
Yeah, you won the turnover battle. Then the other thing.
You didn't just win it. You obliterated. You won 4-0.
Yeah.
Like you as in the Charge, they won 4-0.
Yeah.
And they still weren't able to do anything with it. But
that's incredible. What it comes to. It comes to creativity, play calling, and gut check time. That's what it is. That's why I was surprised, seriously, because this obviously, again, in my humble opinion, you read the stats off how it was touchdown after touchdown Jaguar drives in the second half. I don't understand how you don't go for it in one of those instead of setting for field goals. I understand being safe and everything else, but dude, in the regular season, but this is the playoffs. You're playing for your life. You know what I mean? It's like you have got to try and, get gutsy in one of those. And, just in the second half, they couldn't get pressure on Lawrence. The DBs playing elite in the first half went ice cold in the second. They couldn't tackle either. It was just
Yeah.
bad all around. You had Joey Bosa at some points, Kyle Van Noy and Khalil Mack out there, and you still couldn't get pressure. So that's not a very good look. So it's just a hard pill to swallow, just overall, because it's like the worst part was the expectations at the start of the season. It wasn't just they might contend. They might make the playoffs. They had him picked to go to the freaking Super Bowl, AFC Championship, and everything else. And now essentially it's just another season down the drain, because if you're not first, you're last. So it should always be Super Bowl or bust, or you got the wrong mentality. We're not here to win participation trophies of making it to the playoffs. So it's like we've talked about, just a lot of questions in the offseason. The storylines are already writing themselves. These vultures aren't going to wait till Monday. They're going to be freaking out and about tomorrow on all the Sunday, Fox and CBS with all those guys talking about it and everything else. And that's it's just so tough. It's so tough. Like you gotta get creative, at least in the second half when when it's starting to get like that, because you have to sustain drives. If you don't sustain drives, those are the type of results you're going to get, because you left too much time on the clock for the Jaguars, who were hot, to get going. And, that Michael Davis injury was crucial. It was crucial because they looked completely different after he got out, because he was too hurt to continue. So, I mean,
I don't want to put you on. No, I just don't want to put you on the spot, but if they let go of Lombardi tomorrow, if they fired Lombardi, would that be enough for you? Or do you feel like, hey, this was more than just Lombardi. This was monumental.
Well, if you want me to name drop, I can name drop.
No name dropping. I feel like Lombardi
has to be the first one.
No, I know that, but I feel like Lombardi would be the first one, and they'd be like, okay, well, there you go, Lombardi. No,
it doesn't work like that.
It kind of feels like there has to be more than this.
Because this is what we talked about, right? You have talent. The problem is, and I've said this all season, as the receipts will show, I think sometimes you get coaches or coordinators who say, this is my system. You're going to run my system. Damn the players who are in the locker room. Damn their skill sets. Damn whatever the hell they're good at. And it's I think sometimes you've seen that. You have, because that's why they struggled so hard when Mike Williams and Keenan Allen weren't in the game, because I don't think they made real adjustments. And you saw tonight when Michael Bandy had to come into the game, he had no idea he was getting a sweep. If you notice, he's trying to avoid it. He's trying to avoid it, despite what Tony was saying and Al just running their mouths all night. It was unbelievable. And that's what we've talked about. You have got, in the NFL, in the pros, and any other level, you have got to train your backups like they're going to play, because this type of crap happens. So, you kill momentum, which would have been probably a first down on a sweep, to now essentially it's third and long and you got to punt, or third and long, you don't get it, you punt and stuff like that. And it's that's the thing. And the other thing is, they should have worked in maybe Josh Kelly a little more. I thought he was the most effective runner for the most part. Besides Eckler's 2 touchdowns, I don't think he was very effective in the run game.
No,
and it's
and they kept on running to the left. They kept on.
Yeah, that's the other thing. That's the other thing.
RPO, Eckler running, and then boom, he'd get tackled. They wouldn't run to the right side. They didn't do it. It was just.
I don't think they ran with a pulling guard for the most part. I don't remember seeing one. But the other thing was, Herbert needs to work on his throwing motion or something. He needs to combat those batted passes. That's just tough, dude. Come on. You're freaking 6'6". That was tough.
He had numerous ones, didn't he?
He had a lot of them, especially during crunch time and stuff like that. It's you don't want to give them, those are gimmies. Those are gimmies to get momentum going on their side and everything else. It's like Coach Staley said, there's no excuse. They didn't play a clean game in the second half. They played like they were, I don't know what to say. I'm trying to keep it together for now right now.
1, 2.
They played terrible.
1,
in the
2,
second half.
4. He had 5 passes batted down.
You would have thought seriously they were the ones, playing for playing for nothing. I don't know. I don't know even how to describe it. It was just I can't say I haven't seen something like that, because I have, but it's just
Asante Samuel Jr. had 6 passes defended.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And it's they let Trevor get too comfortable in the second half. And you know what I think the biggest problem was? they probably went into the half thinking, oh, they're done. We're going to the crib. We're going to get this dub and go home. And you can't get overconfident. I told you right at halftime, Frown, when it was 27-7. I don't like that they got that touchdown before halftime because that gives them momentum. And the other thing is, I hope they don't go into this locker room thinking, oh, we're going to win the Lombardi because our offensive coordinator's last name is the same thing. It doesn't work like that, guys. You have to, and I know what I'm saying is already known knowledge. I don't like repeating these things, but it's like you have got to come out 0-0, play with your lights, with your hair on fire, and be a wild man. You have to play till the end of the game. It doesn't matter what the score is in the first half. When they scored that touchdown, I even told you, I was like, hey, if I'm Doug Peterson, this isn't too bad for me. I know I can do it. And, he's probably been in tougher spots. He's been in tougher spots winning a Super Bowl. And it's like, that's the thing, Well,
the backup quarterback.
With a backup, I don't think that gets talked about enough. Seriously. I don't think that gets talked about enough that playoff run has got to be one of the best ever in history. But, I mean, it is what it is. They lost. There's more questions than answers. And, it's not going to be an easy offseason for anyone who's a fan of this team. It's going to be wild, and it might be ugly before it gets better, but because this is the other thing, talking about how they have to reflect on what they're doing as an organization. They've already, how many years have Justin Herbert been here? Like 4? 3. And they've pissed away time on his rookie contract to get players and stack the team. So now they're going to pay him either, what did you say, next year or this year?
They could pay him this offseason the way that the Cardinals paid they were held at ransom for Kyler Murray.
And that's the thing, right? He's better than half of those bums. He's going to command more of the salary cap. And it's like now you're going to have to figure out how you put a team together with one arm tied behind your back because you have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So now it's just, I don't know what type of
the Chargers could still wait one more year and pay him after his 4th season, but then there you run into the 5th-year option. Then you run into
that he could want a dip or what?
No, 5th-year option or getting that contract signed right away. Or I mean, you just never know.
The price is going to go up. The price is going to go up. Regardless. He's definitely better than Deshaun Watson. He's definitely better than Kyler Murray. I'll go. He's better than Lamar Jackson. Who else am I missing? That was the part that was so frustrating to me at the start of the game. They have him as the 11th quarterback in the whole league. I would love to see that list, Brown.
That's according to PFF, though.
PFF is run by stooges, apparently. I already knew that, but that just confirmed it. Better than Dak Prescott. Let me see. Better than Derek Carr. Who else am I missing? I'm trying to think of this right now. It's unbelievable. 11th best quarterback in the league. What a freaking joke. Took the team to the playoffs when he missed his number 1 and number 2 weapons for like 5 weeks or whatever it was. Unbelievable.
Justin Herbert's going to the podium now. Let's see what he has to say.
Obviously a tough go for us. As an offense, we need to do more in the second half, and that falls on us offensively. And as a quarterback, I need to perform better, and you got to be able to put up more than 3 points in the second half. And so I feel horrible for the defense for the incredible effort they put out there today, but got to be better as a team.
You were kind of sitting at your locker for a little while. Do you mind sharing just what was kind of going through your mind while you were sitting there?
Just thinking about the game.
The running game in the second half, obviously, when you have a lead like that, you want to be able to run the football, take time off the clock. Just how much do you feel like that impacted the offensive performance in the second half?
Yeah, I think, as an offense, we need to move the ball better through the air, on the ground. We just have to be able to move the chains, and we didn't do that enough. We didn't score in the red zone enough. Only put up 3 points in the second half, and so as an offense, that's on us. Not executing. Not converting on third down when we needed to, some penalties, but tough go today.
Justin, did they change what they were going to show you in the second half compared to the first?
A little bit. We knew, we've got a lot of respect for the Jaguars and their defense, and they're a really tough defense, and it falls on us for not executing in the second half, and we were able to put up some points in the first half, but you got to be able to play 4 quarters as an NFL team.
For kind of how tough is the finality of just it ending like this at the end of the season?
Yeah, it's really tough because, we think really highly of our team, and that's a special group of guys in that locker room. And, they deserve better, and it didn't go our way. And that's the unfortunate part. And, guys put everything they had into it this year, and especially this game. And, you hate to see it go that way. But I know that everyone in that locker room who comes back is going to use this one for fuel for the next year. And they're excited to get back to work. And definitely tough to process, but, got to keep it going and use this one as fuel.
I know you guys have been dealing with injuries all year, but when you're going out there without Mike and then DeAndre Carter goes down and you lose your left tackle, at what point does some of those things become too tough to overcome?
We still have some pretty good weapons on the offensive side of the ball. And, to have a guy like Keenan and Donald Parham, Gerald Everett, they had big days, and, super thankful for those guys being out there, and all our guys are battling. Injuries are a part of the game, and that's the unfortunate part. And they're doing everything they can to be out there. It's definitely tough when you lose a guy like Mike and DeAndre and Jamari, but got to pick up the pieces and keep going.
One specific play late in the first half in the red zone, the play had Keenan open in the end zone. Is that one that you just missed, or was there like maybe a defender in the way that made you throw it higher than you?
Yeah, there was a couple of defenders in the way. I could have thrown a better pass to him. That's one of those that you got to execute. But looking back, we'll have to watch the film and analyze that one.
Another specific play, the Vandy jet sweep, where you guys had a fumbled exchange. Just can you walk us through sort of what happened on that play from your perspective?
That's a play that we ran all week with DeAndre Carter. He goes down, and Vandy has to step up into that role. And, it's on me for not communicating that more clearly in the huddle. I could have done a better job of saying, hey, this is the play, this is what we're doing, this is the kill. So, it's on all of us for miscommunication.
So you checked out of the initial play?
Correct. That was the play. We were going to run it down the middle depending on a certain look. We got it, so we killed to a second play. But I could have done a better job of going to him and telling him exactly what we needed to do.
I just love that he takes ownership. That's why I love the son of Odin. I love the son of Odin. He understands what the game is, You have to execute. And I love that he's not finger pointing, because how easy would it be for people to finger point at this point? And it's like he takes extreme ownership, and I think that's commendable, because you have to do it, because how else do you get better if you don't look in the mirror? And, I think a lot of people don't understand that, and it is what it is. I mean, it's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow. He's not happy up there, and that's why he's talking about, watch the film, get better, didn't execute, and stuff like that. And, I mean, it takes 11 people to win. Sometimes they forget about that, but it's just – it is what it is. I don't even know what to say at this point. It's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, no, and you can tell Justin took ownership. He said, it's me, but it wasn't you. I mean, you put up almost 30 points. Like and it's not just, it wasn't totally the defense. It was everything.
It wasn't. Yeah.
It was everything.
Because the thing is, it's like we always talk about. If you make and I think they had literally this exact same problem week 3 when they played the Jags. When you get into 3 and outs and you can't sustain drives, your defense is going. I think that game, the defense took 2 times as many reps as the offense did. And it's like, well, no wonder they're going to be gassed and give up so many points and everything else. They're not getting breathers on the sideline, and they're not, giving the Jaguar offense time to cool down, and that way they can't get into rhythm and get hot like they did tonight. And, it's just one of those things like we've talked about all season, second half adjustments. Didn't see it again today in the biggest stage. And the worst part is this is national television. This is night TV. So everyone and their mother saw this. There's just no worse way the Chargers could have ended their season than this, literally.
Yeah, no, and it's a terrible way to do it. And especially because, man, this kid is so talented. He's so good.
Yeah,
he deserves to be fighting for a Super Bowl. He deserves to be up there with the Patrick Mahomes, the Joe Burrows, the Josh Allens, fighting for the trophy. And now he's going to go home because of, just
lack of creativity. Lack of creativity, lack of self-awareness. Like I said before, in my mind, in that I think the final drive where they score the field goal, I don't know why you don't go for it. You're only up by 2. They've scored on every possession anyway. In my mind, I'm trying to ice the game. What am I going to think? Like, I don't understand. Well, again, I'm not in the position, so it's easy for me to say and everything else. Totally get it. But it's like in my mind, I'm not, I understand that the defense has been giving up a lot to them in the second half. So why would I put it on the defense when I got the son of Odin out there? I'd rather take a shot, take a chance. That's what won them so many games last year. They didn't do it that much this year. But I mean, it's the playoffs, dude. You gotta gut check and be like, you know what? I want it more than you do. Let's run a play, get the first down, ice the game. Because the other problem was you give them the ball. There's no way you're going to be able to stop the clock anyway. You only have one timeout. And then the Agnew, the returner, they were terrible on kickoff return the whole night. They were letting that guy slice them up for like to the 30 and to the 40 a few times. It's a game of field position half the time, and they gave it up to him. They gave that field position up to him late, and it is what it is, dude. I don't. We can analyze, pick the bones of this through the whole night, and it's just going to come out to the same thing.
Yeah, no, and like I said, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, but really, I mean, I just don't know how. And I mean, that's the thing. I'm trying to be fair, and I'm trying to be fair, and I'm trying to be everything. But I mean, the thing is, how can you go to your franchise and be like, hey, don't worry, it's gonna get better?
Yeah.
Like, you blew a 27-point lead. Your best wide receiver, your most productive wide receiver this year, let's put it like that, was at home nursing his back injury that you suffered in a meaningless play in Denver in week 18. Like, I just don't know how you can go to your fan base and be like, oh, this is gonna get better. I mean, I think in my opinion, I think Joe Lombardi they're gonna fire Joe Lombardi, and they're gonna be like, okay, well, there you go. But you have to look everywhere. You have to look at the general. The general manager has now been here. If he came back, this would be his 11th season. He's made the playoffs 3 times. He's 2-3. Why? I mean, he has a losing record as a general manager. I just don't understand how you could bring that back. I really don't. Like, I just don't see how you can bring anything back. I would want to start off fresh. And I mean, I know that means having to pay certain people and everything to basically stay away, or being like, oh, well, we had to fire you, here you go. But I just don't see how you can come back and be like, oh, we're gonna run it back. Like, running it back means, okay, you were almost there. You
lose in a shootout. You lose in a shootout. That happens.
No, well, just in general, let's just put it as
no. I know what you're trying to say. Yeah, but I'm saying, like, you lose in a shootout. Yeah, we're gonna run it back. We just need to get better.
Like, in my opinion, Jacksonville's gonna get better next year.
100%.
Jacksonville's going to be like, oh, let's run it back with Doug Peterson, and they're going to get better. Hey, they don't forget they traded for Calvin Ridley. Remember, he's suspended.
Oh, that's
he's going to come into. He's going to come into this offense. Jacksonville's going to have money to spend. They're going to go spend it on more players. Yeah. Jacksonville's going to be good for years to come. Heck, if everything happens the way it's supposed to happen, we're going to get Kansas City and Jacksonville, and we're going to get
Bengals and Buffalo. Right?
Bengals and Buffalo. From what I saw from Jacksonville, they could totally take it to the Chiefs.
Yeah,
they could make some noise against Kansas City. Now, Kansas City could also blow them out, but I just feel like they could definitely. I just feel like they could definitely beat. I just feel like Jacksonville's going to be a lot better, but I just moving forward. I mean, and that's the thing when you have a Super Bowl winning head coach, and I keep on saying it. But when you have one, it's just it's so different, because when like, a coach knows what it takes to get there. They know the hill that you have to climb. Exactly. They know everything. They know how to get there. Obviously, and not just that. Most Super Bowl winning head coaches, from what I've noticed, they also, like Andy Reid. And when Patrick Mahomes came in, he didn't say, hey, Patrick, we're going to run my system. You're going to have to get used to it. It was, Patrick, let's build a system around you.
Yeah.
Alex Smith, let's build a system around you. And then Doug Peterson, Trevor, we're going to build a system around you. Yeah. What other, I mean, Bill Belichick.
That's right. That's right. Say his name now.
Well, he hired a defensive coordinator to beat his offensive coordinator, but I guess.
Stop hating.
But I mean, in a sense, like, Mac Jones, we're basically going to build an offense around you. Like, those guys, like, they understand. If you've won a Super Bowl, you understand how to build an offense around the quarterback that you have. The Justin Herbert needs to build an offense around what he is good at, and I didn't see that. I haven't seen. I've seen it at times from in both seasons, but I haven't seen it consistently.
Yeah, no.
You have to exploit what this kid does well, and I feel like the Chargers do not do that. They have not done that. And I really do think that, and I mean, I hate calling for people's jobs. I don't like doing that. I know other people love doing it. I will not do that. But I just don't see how you can say, let's run it back. Let's go. We did some good stuff this year. Let's come back. We're building something.
Yeah.
No, you just blew a 20. You're basically, I mean, it was basically like when Bell grabs the mirror and says, show me the beast. It's the history of you blowing leads. And that's the problem. And you need something. That's the problem. You need something different, but you keep on getting the same thing, is what I've noticed. And I mean, like I've said, I've had a relationship with each three of the head coaches that the Chargers have had. Each of them have treated me great. They've been awesome. They know that I have a job to do. They respect it. I respect them. Everything was okay. But at the same time, it's like all three head coaches have been the same thing. They've been new. I remember when when they hired Mike McCoy, it's like, well, Andy Reid was also, and so was Bruce Arians. Like, Bruce Arians is also no, okay, they wanted to go younger. With Anthony Lynn, you had other candidates out there that you're like, whoa, and okay, and it's like, okay, I get it. You keep on getting the same. You keep on picking apples from the same tree, and you're not going to different trees to see what kind of value they have. I don't know. I just and I'm going to be one of the ones that I did say it when Anthony Lynn was fired. I said they need to go for a defensive-minded head coach. Why? Because I thought they need to go with something different. They did. It just, I mean, I don't know. Maybe 2 years is too soon to call it, but I just think after these last two performances, I just don't know how you can continue like this. Like, hell, if I had the job, I wouldn't want to continue. Like, this has just been, it's been bad. I would pull a Cliff Kingsbury and be like, you know what, I'm gonna do a one-way ticket to Thailand. I'm gonna go kick it out in Thailand for a little bit, and I'm gonna go chill out. But Dan, I don't know. Maybe I'm completely wrong in all this, but
it's not. You're not totally wrong. But it's like we've talked about. Like, do you want to compete or do you want to be elite? There's two different levels, and it's like we've talked about. You know, it's just they want, and you know, they might say, well, this year we did everything right. We traded, we signed, we did this, we did that, and it's like, I guess, but I don't think 1 year is good enough. You know what I mean? Like, you have to build it over time. Like, there's nothing wrong with taking time to build it. The Rams did their method, and look, they're going to be in the crapper for a little bit probably. And it's like, but wouldn't you take being in the 100 freaking % for one gosh dang trophy for now? I don't give a rat's ass what happens after it. I'm only worried about that one. And it's like, you know, we've talked about this when the Stephon Diggs, some of these trades, you see these people shuffling along, and it's like, were we not even on the call? Were the Chargers not even on the call? And it's like, and you've been saying it for years probably now. Get Justin Herbert more weapons on offense. 2 receivers is not enough, and it isn't.
This is what happens.
Yeah,
this is what happens. And I know some people will be like, "Well, Joshua Palmer's not at that level yet."
No,
like
they forget that weren't they rookies together?
No. Joshua Palmer is a second year. This is the second year.
Oh, okay.
Joshua Palmer showed positive strides this year.
Yeah,
but he's not enough to say, okay, well, we have Keenan Allen, Joshua Palmer, Michael Bandy, and DeAndre Carter. We can go out there like this. No, you can't. Look at what they gave Trevor Lawrence. And I know some people will be like, oh, well, I think Keenan Allen's better. Yeah, Keenan Allen's better than whatever receiver they have on their team. But look at what they have. Zay Jones contributed. Christian Kirk, Marvin Jones, all playmakers that all contributed. And the
Ingram also had
Evan Ingram. He's a tight end. Yeah. But that's why I keep on saying you have to get Patrick Mahomes. They keep on getting him weapons. Teams keep on getting guys weapons. And it's like, why would you stop at, okay, we have Mike Williams and we have Keenan Allen. Let's take a pause. Joshua Palmer, big pause. And DeAndre Carter's been okay. And so is
He's been serviceable.
He's been serviceable. But it's like Michael Bandy, like, dude, there's so many receivers. Hell, there's even 30-year-old receivers out there who could probably
why not? Yeah.
do some damage, or there has to be somebody out there. But it's just like you just get so complacent. You're like, oh, well, we already have this much money tied up in receivers. We're good. No, look at the talent. Don't look at the money. Look at the talent that you have there. Like, literally, what were they going to go in? Like, if DeAndre Carter couldn't go this week, what in the hell were they going to go in with into Kansas City next week if that's who they were going to play? What were you going to go into Kansas City with? You were going to go in with Keenan Allen? If I can already tell you right now, Steve Spagnuolo would have doubled Keenan the whole game and left everybody else one-on-one. And I can already tell you what would have happened everywhere else. Yeah. So it's just it's
you still need a running back. You still need another tight end.
Another thing. You need
Barnham hasn't showed up, and McKitty sure isn't.
I know that he scored 40 touchdowns in the last 2 seasons. I completely understand that. Yeah. But you need a muscle running back. You need a big back that's going to take that beating, that's going to wear down the defense. And that's the thing. The Chargers try and do that with Eckler. No. But the Chargers try and do that with Eckler. It doesn't work. Eckler is not a big body guy who's just going to take you down and tire you out and gas you out. But here's where we run into another problem. The Chargers have now spent 3 years, the last 3 years, drafting running backs. And it just seems like, I mean, Joshua Kelly's probably the most serviceable out of all of them, but
up and down.
I don't know. And really, I don't know what's going to happen moving forward. I mean, I'm really curious to know what's going to happen in the next few days. But
the problem is going to be the noise. The outside noise sometimes forces these teams' hands, because this is the problem now. It's like you already lose the battle in LA to win a Super Bowl. It's like, but at least now the Rams are in the crapper. This is your window to at least be relevant and compete. And, you still have Herbert on the rookie contract, but you've already, I'm going to say it again, pissed away a few years with that because you haven't been able to get him there. It's like now you get him there, you're on the back end, and it's like you're going to have to sign this guy soon. So it's like a lot more issues come into play moving forward. And there's just, like the Riddler says, there's too many questions. And the noise, if it's loud enough, it might, the unthinkable might happen. Some things might happen where people move around and things like that. But I think it's very tough, like you've said, to kind of take this one on the chin and be like, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. It's like, it's tough, dude. Like this stuff doesn't happen in a playoff game because, it happens in the regular season. You can eat that one, especially early in the season. You can eat it. That's fine. But in playoff game on national television against a team you've already played and got embarrassed by, you got embarrassed by the same team twice and the same head coach twice. It's like, that's not easy. And it's like we've said before, we have no problem with Brandon Staley. I love Brandon Staley. I think, personally, I've applied a lot of things that he said in my own life to my own coaching methods and stuff like that. And it's like, but it's tough, dude. It's the way the cookie crumbles. This franchise, historically is, it's one of those franchises where you're not going to win right away. And these type of things happen. And this is why I say I'm a student of history, right? As soon as I knew they were scoring all these points, that's why I said go for it. Because I knew they were going to lose on the back end. They weren't going to stop them. No. It's like you have to understand those things and apply it in game. Like that's where I thought, where's the damn computer telling them to go for it or whatever it is? I don't know the numbers. I'm not a numbers guy. I don't understand it. But I mean, if it works, it works. And it's like I still think, they should have gone for it, ice the game. I understand once again. It's easier said than done, and hindsight's 20/20, everything else. But, that was my gut feeling, and I told you that right away as soon as I saw them trotting on the field goal unit. I was like, oh, we should go for this one, dude. Especially one time out. It's like you have to stay ahead of the curve, dude.
Yeah. And no, I completely agree with you. And, guys, we're We're hitting the
Already
hour
at an
mark,
hour,
so
yeah.
we're definitely that went by really fast. We
Yeah.
appreciate you guys listening. Just to let you guys know, we'll be on top of whatever happens this week. If something jumps out, we will jump on quickly and shoot an episode. So just be on the lookout. We'll let you guys know. We appreciate you guys obviously checking us out. We will this week we will be on it. Whatever happens, we will jump
Smash
on
the
it.
like button. Smash
Yeah.
the like button for your compas.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, be a compa, tell a compa. Let your compas know, hey, I know it's not good right now, but come over here and hang out with Fernando and Dan and Dago, and they'll make you feel a lot better.
That's right.
But
Shout
again,
out real quick. One of the comments I want to shout out. Shout out to Andrew from Canada. Hope you are well, bud. You know, it is what it is. We're not in a good one right now, but it is what it is.
Again, guys, don't forget to go check out everything this week on Compas on the Beat. We'll review everything from the playoffs. We'll review everything from Super Wildcard Weekend. We'll review everything from this game, Compas FC. We'll be talking about Manchester United upsetting Manchester City. I don't know if I'd call it an upset, but
talking about the derby.
Yeah, exactly. Pep Guardiola had a terrible week. So definitely we'll be talking about that. And don't forget to check out on Compas on the Beat. We do have a breakdown of every other playoff game that is happening. Dolphins and Bills, Baltimore Ravens, and the Cincinnati Bengals. We have all of it. Go check it out. And don't forget to check out our compas at Homage. Dan and Dago's wearing one of their shirts right now. Look in the link below. We have it in the description. Go check them out. Go check them out. And again, we appreciate you guys. Thank you guys. I mean, unfortunately, I know it wasn't the season that you guys were hoping for, but from the bottom of our hearts, Dan and Dago and I appreciate you guys coming and listening to us every week. Literally, I mean, we're surprised by the numbers. We love you guys so much. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys, and stay safe. And again, be a compa, tell a compa. Thank you guys so much.